if you're lactose intolerant, you can't watch this movie because it's got so much cheese.
Sorry, yeah, I gotta go. You guys can do this on your own now.
Nope, end it there. You agree 100%. I'm right.
Hey, boys. What's going on?
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, fellas.
Welcome, the fellas, yes. Welcome to another episode of Flix, fellas, everybody. I'm today's host, Kevin, joined by my good pals. They're both good pals this week, Joe and James. Joe and James, say hello.
Whoa.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, James.
You see, usually I'm good pal James. I'm surprised that you assign that to Joey.
Fuck you. I'm on the rise.
Come back with
You're on
Joey.
the come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this week was an interesting one. I kind of threw an audible there right before we were about to watch our movies and said we're going to watch this instead. It's In the Shadow of the Moon, which is a 2019 American science fiction thriller directed by Jim Mickle and written by Gregory Whiteham and Jeff Tock. It stars Boyd Holbrook, Cleopatra Coleman, and Michael C. Hall. It follows
Name's
a Philadelphia
Cleopatra?
police... Her name's Cleopatra.
That's amazing.
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It follows a Philadelphia police officer who is struggling with a lifelong obsession to track down a mysterious serial killer whose crimes defy explanation. So, did it defy our expectations, James? What do you think?
I was... I don't want to say exactly why I got off the bus, but halfway through this movie, something happens, and I'm just like, it struck me as like, I am no longer interested in this thing, but I will hang on until the end.
Halfway?
Halfway.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, well, we'll definitely get to that in the spoiler section, but overall, relatively fun movie. I think this one kind of strikes me around a little above Outside the Wire, kind of around that range. Of movie. I did have a good time watching it by the end. It finished up really, really well. Ultimately, had a good time. Definitely have some critiques. But, you know, maybe it's worth a watch. But I'll send this one over to Joe.
Yeah, I know exactly what James is talking about. I went into this movie not knowing anything about it, what it was, but all I knew was that it was a murder mystery, and I didn't even know that before when you first said we're going to watch it, I thought it was a space movie, so I was really hyped, and then it was not a space movie, and then I started this movie and I was
Joey's
like, oh, very
spaceman.
cool. Yeah, I love space movies. I thought it was going to be like a serial killer drama, and then it's not a serial killer drama, and then I was like, oh, we're all of a sudden now in a sci-fi movie, so I agree with
It's
James.
kind of a serial killer drama. Like, you can say,
kind
you
of
know...
It
There's some
is,
serial
but it's
killing
not
that
the way-
happens.
It's so heavy-handed in Philadelphia, and the beginning is so much like murder mystery serial killer movie that I thought it was going to be like a Philly serial killer, and that was like chasing around the city type of thing. It's not that. It's not that movie. It changes genres kind of pretty quickly and kind of abruptly, and I think that's what James is talking to. And I was entertained. I thought it was good. I don't know what this movie was supposed to be, though, all in all. That's my first take.
I feel like okay, so my first reactions, I feel like that changed to sci-fi because there is a quick change into sci-fi. I feel like it's not as abrupt as you think, and we'll talk more about it when we get into the spoilers. No, because I know exactly, now that I think about it, James, I think I know what you're referencing. That
Yeah.
you're like, I'm kind of checked out.
Yeah,
But,
what happens... I do want to talk about it because it's so... Like, you say it's not sharp. I felt like it was like... Like, you know what I mean? Like, you very quickly change lanes. You know what I mean?
No, because throughout the beginning of the movie, there are lines that are said that kind of allude to what is going to happen and what is the motive behind it. But, and we'll talk about that in the spoiler section. All in all, I thought it was like a decent, like, wow, now I'm second guessing myself.
I think it had decent production value, which it's a selling point for it, that it wasn't like cheaply made.
Agreed.
But story-wise and just genre, I just was a little confused. That's what I felt.
This
So
this movie is like a Subway sandwich, and I honestly feel that like of sandwiches, like it's 2 sandwiches, 2 movies. That's what this movie is a Subway sandwich.
do you mean a sandwich that you find on the Subway, or a sandwich from
No.
the restaurant Subway?
No, like the international chain Subway. You obviously not. Joey's eating trash sandwiches out here. Joey's
I feel like I'm sorry. I throughout that whole thing, I'm just kind of thinking because for a second I was second guessing myself, but I'm not going to second guess myself. I think you guys went into it with expectations of just a straight crime thriller in Philly, and when it was weaning or like turning into what it ended up being, that's not what you were expecting, and it may not have guided you into it as much as you would have liked. But I think there are some throwaway lines, but it does kind of quickly change into a different genre, which could be jarring for some, I think. But I enjoyed it. Like, I wasn't like pissed off I was watching it. I think the pacing was a little weird. Like, the pacing felt a little off to me, but like all in all, I thought it was okay.
I have a big gripe about the pacing too, and just the whole way the story was told. It's not really a spoiler because it is talked about all over, but it's kind of told in 9-year increments, and to me, that's just a very long gap to be telling a story over the course of multiple 9-year increments. So we'll talk more into the gripe, but
it's only one day, like every 9
that's
years.
that's
so
my
it's
gripe.
Not like
though.
they're
That's my gripe, is that there's no lead up into it. It's just like, here's the day, and we're going to forget everything. It just feels like it was supposed to be over the course of like 5 consecutive days, but it was over like 40 years.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Well, technically, this story only takes place over 5 days.
I know, but it's... Okay, let's get into the spoiler section, because I'm about to just start ruining some shit.
Yeah, let's send it along, because I do have things to say, because I have a notebook this time.
Alright, so we will be back with some spoilers after the break, and there's no real way to talk about this movie without spoilers, so we will see you in a minute.
Thanks, everyone, for watching First Reactions. If you want to check out the full conversation we had about the movie, go check out the movie podcast on our channel. We really appreciate it. Please leave a comment and a like down below. It helps us out a lot. You can also let us know what you want to see next. So, thanks again. Signing off for now.